Hello everyone! Quick question. So, have you ever seen faces in most of the unlikely and weirdest of places? Like, for example, when you're walking on the street, you see a house that is looking at you, or in the morning when you go to your car, it seems as if your car is smiling. Or even when you go to wash your hands in the sink, it seems as if the sink is looking at you. Or even when you go to the switchboard to switch on the lights, you see that the socket is shocked to see you. So, these are the very common things that we see. Faces in the most unlikely of places. And this is because we are humans. And our brain works so fast to see faces in such unlikely places that it's almost automatic. So, what is this collective malfunction of our face obsessed brain? Honestly, it's not a malfunction at all. Our brain is doing what it does like other human brain. It sees faces in the most unlikely of places to keep us safe and help us maintain strong bonds with other species as well. So, in this video, we are going to bust the question of why our brain and how our brain sees faces in the most faceless stuff. So, I'm Shaina and let's bust this question. So, the reason why we see faces in such faceless stuff like in a washing machine or in homes, like at houses when we look at them, this is because of facial pareidolia. Facial pareidolia. The word pareidolia sounds quite cool, does it not? So, facial pareidolia is actually a tendency for our brain to see faces in the most unlikely of objects. And this is because our brain, like I earlier said, our brain does this the best. It's almost an automatic thing that happens. And we Homo sapiens are best at finding faces in such weird things. And the reason being, we humans are actually social animals. And this feature or this tendency also helps us maintain strong bonds, and we can easily spot our fellow species, and it helps us stay safe. That is one reason. And another reason, which is actually quite important, is that it helps us spot faces and recognize animals that might try to eat us. So it is basically helping us survive. Now, this was about facial pareidolia. Now, I'm going to tell you a very condensed version of how we see things, how we can see the things around us. So, basically, what happens is when the light from any source it enters our eyes through the cornea, it forms an image in the retina. It's an inverted or an upside down image form. But our brain, it actually, it makes us visualize the thing as erect. And this is because from the retina through the optic nerves, this image, it goes as chemical and electrical signals to the back part of our brain, which is the cerebellum, where in the occipital lobe the visual cortex is present. This visual cortex helps us analyze that object we see as face. And honestly, our visual cortex, what happens is basically when the light passes, our visual cortex has two pathways. It's the where and the what pathway. The where pathway helps us see things, helps us answer the question like where the object is or like where we have to go. While what responds to the question of what that thing is. So basically, when that light enters, the first thing that we see, a part of our brain actually shouts out that it's a face, while actually it takes time for the other parts of the brain to recognize, and it's quite slow then to recognize the thing as face, that the actual object is not a face but actually something else. Like for example, let's say a house. This house actually looks like a face, doesn't it? When you first look at it, the first thing that pops in our mind is face, face, face. Our brain is constantly saying there's a face, but the other parts of the brain, once they slowly kick in their process, they start working and further chemical and electrical signals are sent to the brain our brains realizes, oh, that's not a face at all, actually it's a house. So then we realize what actually that object is. So that is how we get to know whether that's a face or what exactly the object is. And now here comes the question, that this tendency to visualize faces, is this something that we are born with, or is it something that we learn over the ages? Now, to answer this question, researchers have also done their work. So what they have done is that they sent a 6-month-old baby inside an MRI. After doing that, they have studied and they have found out that when that baby was put into the MRI, its brain function was to visualize faces was almost as equal. The speed of the functioning of the brain was almost as equal as that of an adult. So this means that the baby could visualize faces just like an adult can. Now, this research is not exactly very appropriate. I mean, it gives us result, but we could not be sure out of it. This is because if we see when a baby is born, we all know a human baby has a very blurry vision when it's born, and the first thing it sees is our faces, because we're literally putting our faces on it, and that's the only thing it can see, right? So when it sees faces, and when it because of its blurry vision, it sees the movement of faces and our faces, it all appears very vivid to it. And therefore, when they slowly develop their vision and when they understand, and they relate that face to sense of comfort and food, and they feel safe. So that is what they visualize out of that face. Now, it can also apart from this, so we can basically conclude that seeing faces is a normal tendency of our brain. Now, we have also seen that this tendency of ours is actually helping us to visualize safety, visualize threats. Now, what happens if we can't see faces? So the people who have face blindness, they have quite a problem in visualizing threats, like the ones who can see faces do. We've also seen that people who suffer from memory loss, such as Alzheimer's disease, they slowly and gradually lose their tendency to visualize things. And also, learning more about the different regions of our brain that helps in visualizing things, and learning more about the visual cortex of our brain, it has also helped us to quickly learn and quickly evaluate whether a child is suffering from autism or ADHD or any problems like that, and help them in need and help them within time. So it's not what I'm saying. I mean, you can look at our evolution as well, because that also states the same thing. Because we can see over the period of time, visualizing faces in most unlikely of places, not only it have helped us see and find new things, but it has also get to know and spot threats quickly so that we can stay alive. The also second thing is that because of visualizing faces, we have actually been able to domesticate animals. We have seen the dogs. I mean, in which animated film have we not seen that dogs appear so mesmerizingly cute? I mean, their eyebrows and the way that they bring their ears down, it's so absolutely cute. I mean, I personally, being a dog lover, I find that very cute. So, over the period, we have seen that dogs have a muscle in their eyebrows that helps them, curve their eyebrows, and that is not there in wolves. I mean, dogs and wolves, they come from the same, they have the same ancestors, yet because dogs have that muscle in the eyebrow, they're able to make such cute faces, which honestly wolves are not able to. That's why I find them more ferocious than dogs. So therefore, because of that adorable face, we humans, in the early humans, they decided to share their fire and food with them, and they became in return the most loyal pets and the most loyal animals to humans. That's why we say that dogs are the most loyal to humans. So that was one fact. Now, this all, lecture and this all, the words that I said, this all says, the conclusion of it is that we humans have a natural tendency to visualize faces in the most unlikely of places, and this happens why? Because we are humans. Visualizing and seeing faces, this makes us more human only. So there's nothing weird about it, and don't ever think that it's the thing that's happening only with you, because millions of us, millions of humans are seeing faces in weird objects, and we all are just like you. And that's why the next time if you notice a snooze in your squash, or a car in your Carbaza, or a visage in your Volkswagen, or a cow in your bow, remember that it's you being a human. Well, that was all for today. If you liked my video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye bye. Thank you.